Hey guys, it's election day. Um, Here we are. I've been dreaming of this moment for a very, very long time, since 2016. But we're here, so if you haven't voted, go vote today. Your vote does count. Um, whoa, I just got a text. Hopefully that didn't show up, but that woke me up. So I'm kind of grinding videos right now. I've been slacking off. I actually meant to make this video like a few days ago, then I completely forgot about it. But yeah, so we're essentially going to compare the polls from this point in 2016 to right now. So I don't really want to talk about some of these safer states for either candidate, but we're going to talk about the swing states and the states that actually matter. So not that safe states don't matter, but it's still important that we, analyze the swing states to a greater extent. So I just sound like a bumbling idiot right now, but hopefully you stick around to the end of the video. And if you're even this far in, because most people are just going to skip to the end and then compare the two maps, but if you're this far in, I do appreciate you. So comment down that they actually made it this far in. So we're going to actually start this video off. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I try to put as much content out as I can. Obviously, I'm not perfect in my analysis. Maybe wrong. We'll see on Tuesday, tomorrow. But I do hope that you will like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends, and yeah. So, by the way, I will be going live. I checked the channel for that, and I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. So, 103 electoral votes for the Republicans, which in this case are Trump, Pence, or 103 for the Republicans, 183 for the Democrats, whether it be Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton. So I'm gonna start with the state of Alaska, and in Alaska, we are going to it's not a swing state. So Alaska in 2016, Trump versus Clinton. I think that RCP only weighted one poll, so the spread was Trump ahead by 15.2. So yeah, so we're essentially going to do that. Alaska will go to Donald Trump. Now let's compare that to what we have right now in Alaska. And right now, president general election, Donald Trump is ahead by 7.7. So he's actually lost a bit of support in Alaska, or at least the polls are reflecting that. And I think that's fair to say. I think he'll win Alaska by a little less than he did in 2016. Now we're going to go over to the state of Nevada, where the polls actually had Donald Trump winning the state, if I'm correct, at this point in time. Nevada. Where are you, Nevada? Did I seriously? There we go. It took me 10 years to find it, but we found it. So, whoa, no. I don't want that. I want Nevada 2016 polls. And I actually have looked up a lot of these things before, but essentially, Donald Trump was ahead by 2%. So he was supposed to win by a lean margin against Clinton. And now we're going to check on Nevada. I'm pretty sure, I guarantee you that Joe Biden's head was in like 6 or 7% in Nevada. Yeah, he's ahead by 5.3. I was a little off, but whatever. So likely margin in Nevada compared to a lean margin so it's a big swing. Now going over to the state of Arizona, Donald Trump was actually supposed to win this state by a lot more than he won it by. AZ polls 2016, 3016. That's very far in the future. So yeah, so Donald Trump. Let's see, on November 2nd, whatever. That was the last poll. He was ahead by 4. So that's a lean margin. That's essentially how much he won it by. But now we're going to take a look at the polls this time around. So in Arizona, the polls have Biden up by a lead margin. So, oops, I'm flipping around, but I clicked on the wrong tab. So whatever. So that's a lean margin for Donald Trump. Now going over to the state of New Mexico, we're going to look at the state of New Mexico. I think they have no, they don't have that as a battleground state. No, they do. Whoops, I'm kind of all over the place here, but okay, they don't want to average it out, but I'm pretty sure Clinton was ahead by a likely margin based on my mental math, my advanced calculations. New Mexico, Donald Trump or Joe Biden is currently ahead by almost a safe margin, but still likely margin. Whoops. Now Colorado, I don't think that they weighted Colorado either. Or no, I was looking at the wrong polls. New Mexico 2016 polls. I'm a little disorganized. I'm kind of all over the place, which I do apologize for. But yeah, so hopefully Real Clear Politics does decide to load. And if I'm screen recording on that tab, then that would be helpful. Okay. Hopefully you're just... Okay, there we go. Clinton was ahead by 8. I was ahead. I was right. Whoops. So now for Biden-Harris, they're ahead by a almost safe margin. Now going over to the state of Colorado. We're going to put Colorado 2016 polls between Trump versus Clinton. Colorado. I don't want the Senate polls. I just want Colorado polls, 2016 polls. There we go. So Clinton was ahead by 5, or she was ahead by 3. She won by 5, so they actually underestimated her. She was ahead by a lean margin. Now we're going to see what they have to say about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So Joe Biden is ahead by 12% Colorado, so he's actually ahead by a safe margin compared to the lead margin 2016. So now we're going to go to the state of Texas, where I guarantee, and I know this, Texas was supposed to be just 11.7% for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, or for Donald Trump and Mike Pence. That's not a ticket. But now I think it's basically a tilt Trump state, if I'm correct. So Trump's ahead by 1%. That makes it a tilt Trump state. Trump ahead by 1% there. So compare that dramatic swing across the Sun Belt. And there are 2 flips in Nevada and Arizona. Texas certainly a lot more competitive. So Nebraska's 2nd district, we haven't seen any data out of that. In Maine's 2nd district, not too much of that. And I don't really want to talk about Maine, to be honest with you. I'm lazy. And I don't want to talk about Missouri either. But Iowa, let's go to the state of Iowa, where they had to have pulled that Iowa 2016 polls between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I'm pretty sure Trump was ahead by like a lean margin. Yeah, he was ahead by a lean margin. So, or at least, hopefully, I could find the right thing. So he was ahead by a lean margin. Either way, lean margin for Trump. Whoops, and I should characterize that too. As safe, because it was safe, that election. Nebraska's 2nd district was, and that's likely that will be lean. So, yeah. Now in Iowa, though, let's see the polls this time, and I think that Joe Biden is actually narrowly ahead, which I don't expect to prevail on election night. Nope, Trump's ahead. Biden had the lead a few days ago. That's what I was talking about. So, Iowa, Donald Trump ahead by a tilt margin. And again, the polls now underestimate Republican support. Now we're going to go to the state of Minnesota, where I don't think that they did a ton of polling there. Minnesota polls 2016. I think they Glenn ahead by like 9% or, oh, no, whatever. There was one poll that had Trump ahead by 3, which is interesting. But, so, yeah. Clinton, though, I'm going to guess that averages out to a likely margin. Now let's see what the polls have to say about Minnesota this time. The only poll that's had this race as competitive is Trafalgar, but everywhere else, let's see. Trafalgar put Biden up by 3, but everywhere else, Biden has a solid victory, so likely on both sides, although I think the polls actually had it closer in 2016 for some reason. Now, Wisconsin, the polls in Wisconsin were abysmal in 2016. They had Clinton ahead by 6. She ended up losing it. But at this point in time, on November since November 2nd, she was ahead by 5, so still a likely margin. But now let's see what they have to say about 2020. The average currently does add to a Biden victory of 8.4%, so we have similar margins, although Biden's doing better than Clinton was, around 2%. Now, in the state of Michigan, we're going to look at the polls there, and I'm pretty sure they had Clinton ahead by a lean margin. So that's engraved into my brain. Michigan. 2016 polls. Let's see what they have to say. The average was Clinton ahead by 3.6, actually. And they don't want to show me the... Oh, they do. Thank you. Let's see this. November 2nd. Clinton 3rd. Whatever. I'll publish this the 3rd. Either way, it's a likely margin. So, Michigan, likely margin. Let's see what they have to say this time around. Michigan. If I can find it. Joe Biden is ahead by 8.2%. So... Again, that's another likely margin. So the Rust Belt is essentially the same, except Biden is outperforming Clinton everywhere. But they're similar margins. It's like Biden's outperforming her by 2-3% everywhere. So now we're going to go to the state of Ohio, where I think Donald Trump was actually ahead, but he ended up winning it by much more than he was ahead by. Ohio polls 2016. He was ahead by a lean margin, so Ohio leaned to Trump. And we're going to take a look at the polls from Ohio in 2020. And Rasmussen is actually one of the few polls that put Biden up here. Let's see. Quinnipiac put Biden up. Emerson put Biden up. Quinnipiac again. I think those are Rasmussen polls. Yeah, here it is. Rasmussen put Biden up. Quinnipiac put Biden up. New York Times put Biden up. And there was one poll from Rasmussen that Biden up by like 4% or something. But it was back in like, I don't know. Here it is. It was this. Biden up by 4. But The polls have been a little back and forth in Ohio, but it's kind of maintained. Trump's going to narrowly win this. I think he'll win it by more like 4%, as opposed to the polls saying 1%. But again, the polls did underestimate Trump in 2016. They'll probably do it again in the state of Ohio. Now in Pennsylvania, let's see the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, Trump versus Clinton. Clinton was, I think she was ahead by like 2.1%. That's where I was getting that figure from. Let's see. So on November, she was ahead by a lean margin, so we can put that in the lean column. Now, how about in 2020? Let's see how much Joe Biden is ahead by. He's ahead by a lean margin, almost. Just to show the difference, I'll put it in the likely column. It's not because I'm biased or anything. I mean, I am biased, but I don't talk about that when I'm in my videos. But to show the difference, because Trump is underperforming his 2016 numbers by 3% in the state, I'll put it in the likely column. Now, in the state of Virginia, which you're going to take a look at next. Hopefully that'll come up now that I figured out how to do it. Virginia, Trump versus Clinton. Trump was, it was essentially the same thing. They underestimated Clinton by a little bit, but let's see what they had to say today at this point in time. Trump was ahead, Clinton was ahead by a lean margin, so lean Virginia. But now let's see what they have to say this time around. I'm pretty sure Biden's up by like 10% or something, double digits. But Virginia, Biden's ahead by double digits. Did I say Trump? Because I think I said Trump's ahead by double digits. No, Biden's ahead by double digits, and he's going to win the state fairly easily. Also, South Carolina, I don't want to... No disrespect to South Carolina. I think they did safe. But I don't want to waste my time on South Carolina. Whoops, that's wacky. North Carolina now. We're going to take a look at the polls from North Carolina. And I think they had Trump ahead, and he ended up winning it. So they were pretty accurate in 2016. Trump was ahead by 0.8. He ended up winning it by a little more than that. So he was ahead by 1 at this point in time. 1.8 rather, but either way, it's still a tilt Trump. Whoa, I'm misclicking a ton today. A tilt Trump victory. That was wacky. But now we're going to take a look at what the polls have to say this time around. And you'll notice the trend is that Joe Biden is outperforming Hillary Clinton's 2016 numbers, sometimes quite significantly. So North Carolina, Biden's ahead by 2% around that. So we're going to put that in the tilt Biden column. So as you can see, these numbers looking a lot better for Joe Biden than they were for Hillary Clinton at this point in time. I mean, she was losing in Nevada. She ended up winning the state. She was supposed to only win Colorado by 3%. She won it by a lot more than that. So, yeah. Now going to the state of Georgia. And I think Clinton actually had a minor lead in Georgia over the summer. I remember seeing Georgia's going to go blue. Yeah, no way. Here we go. It was in August. But Trump ahead by a likely margin in Georgia. He won it by, let's see, how much did he win it by? He won it by a lean margin. Now let's see. And I think the polls in Georgia actually have Biden ahead. Biden's ahead in Georgia, which I do not expect to prevail on election day. But yeah. So we're missing New Hampshire and Florida. Let's go to Florida. Actually, we're going to save the best for last. And Florida is the weirdest state in America, no offense meant, in terms of elections. Now New Hampshire, I don't want New Hampshire. New Hampshire, Trump versus Clinton. They were actually incredibly accurate. Let's see what was happening, though, on November 2nd. Trump was ahead by 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump was ahead by 2. That'll actually make it lean. So Trump was ahead by a lean margin in New Hampshire. Let's see what happened now in New Hampshire. And I'm pretty sure the polls in New Hampshire have looked really, really bad for the president. They looked really bad for him. So Biden would be ahead by a likely margin. Now in Florida, lastly, the Sunshine State, Florida, Trump versus Clinton. Clinton had the lead on November 2nd, I believe. Yeah, she was ahead by a tilt margin on November 2nd. So according to the polls, this is what the map would have looked like on November 2nd / November 3rd. I'm kind of mixing data here. Now let's compare Florida. Where are you, Florida? Biden's ahead by a lean margin. So let's close out of these other tabs. I use Real Clear Politics in 538, by the way. So we're kind of mixing data. This is a little more inconsistent than I'd like it to be. Pretty sure, actually, that Utah was lean for Trump. But whatever. Because of Evan McMullen. But yeah, so this is essentially what the map looked like in 2016 at this point in time. On November 2nd / November 3rd. It depends where the data is coming from, but Clinton was narrowly winning. Biden is winning essentially in a landslide-esque fashion. He's flipping, compared to the polls, he's flipping Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Florida, and New Hampshire. So that That's pretty striking. So people say that the polls had Hillary winning in a landslide. Those people are wrong. They don't read the polls. But thanks for watching the video, guys. Smash that like button if this was informative. This was 15 minutes, so this is about 15 minutes long. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to vote. Stay safe. And if your candidate loses on election day, don't ride in the streets. Thanks, guys. See you all in the next one, which is my presidential prediction, which I'm about to go film and pre-record.